Welcome to our video for Tuesday the 20th watch list. We're going to talk about the market for a minute before we get into the actual alerts that went off as a cautionary guide, and we'll get right into that first. Okay, we got a chart here, daily chart, the SP 500. From peak to trough, we made a 61.8% fib retracement, actually a little higher, and gave this pullback on Friday. Now there was some different news going on with inflation concerns and Fed rates and a lot of other things that moved the market around, and then the Russian prosecution thing that made the market pull back pretty hard and bounce back later. Also, I want you to look right here. This is where the market had run up and hesitated, and y'all may remember from a few weeks ago somebody had said the market is oversold, it's fixing to pull back, and I made a comment. My wife heard that comment, she asked me about it. I said no, it's fixing to go up some more, and it gave this next leg up. Well, this happens to be lining up with that little hesitation area as well. Don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but it is kind of interesting that that's where they're meeting at here. I kind of expect the market to pull back. It's supposed to. This is what charts do. This goes right along with my premium alerts. We get a run up, we get a pull back, and then we go again. So the same theory. Whether we just pull back down here around the 50%, a lot of times you'll see it pull all the way back up to this 38.2 area. That's 26.62, and then continue on up. It don't mean there's anything wrong with the market, but the reason I'm talking about this is you may not want to jump in a swing trade Tuesday morning till you see what's going to happen the next few days. But this would be an excellent opportunity if you've been waiting for figuring out what to do. There's been some monster moves in some stocks into this area, and now if they give the pullback and then we continue on up. Also keep in mind we got the 50-day real close. We'll look at that on a different chart in just a second. This has got this over on my bigger chart. Now the low actually kicked off my trend stability on Friday, so we may hang in here. I kind of still look for the pullback. You got the 50-day though right here, and your lower day was right above the 50-day on the SP 500. A lot of people watch the SPY. Same story here. I like to watch the actual SP 500 for retracements because a lot of times the SPY gets kind of out of sync with it, but right now they're in sync. I drew this line on here, high, this bar right here where we went into this base. That could be just a likely little pullback area. It's also the 50% retracement was at 27.02. So if it just did a little pullback and then went on, that wouldn't surprise me. For it to pull back down in this area wouldn't surprise me either. Now, if the market is going into more turmoil, then this could easily be, if you were headed way down here, this would be the steps it would take. It would go down, it would retrace, and it would head down more. So there's a whole lot of factors involved here. We're just at a level we need to be cautious to step into new positions. If you got in down here, great, you made a lot of money. Now what do you want to do? So just be cautious, and that's the reason I spent this much time on this. And we're going to get on over into the alerts. And I'm telling you this, you got a bulls on alert, and you got a market fixing to reverse, maybe. So that's why I'm trying to spend this time on here. Might be better to wait for a pullback at this point. See what the market does on Monday. Or Tuesday, excuse me. If it holds right here and it heads on back up, awesome. May hold the 50, but I bet it goes a little bit. We may gap down right here and bounce. We could gap down and sell off to here and turn around and get a monster rally, and that would be awesome too. So just be aware of what can happen right here in the next couple of sessions. Could be all in one, the way the high frequency machines drive these markets. We're going to look at the weeklies first, as usual. Give you a quick glance at the list where you can pause and be able to see the entire watch list. And then we're going to do the tutorial like we normally do and get into the charts. I'm going to do the weeklies a little bit different. Since we've ran up so far on these weekly bulls, I'm going to actually look at them on a daily chart and see how they may have ran back up into my second target area. You know, I teach this a lot, that you'll get two levels, and that's exactly what the SPY's done as well. It's ran into my second target area from the highs here, and that's what I want to see on these weekly bulls. How many of them have retraced that far? They may actually give a pullback as well. Pull this down where you can see what's on the bottom of the list. Get a look at the daily bears and the few on the daily bulls. We'll do the tutorial and get into the charts. This is a mini tutorial on what the lines mean on my charts if you're a first time viewer or been a while since you viewed. We're scanning on weekly and daily charts for my condition. When this green line is up is my bull zone, and when the red line is up is my bear zone. You need to be aware of support and resistance lines and what charts do at levels, and that's what these levels are for. Just quickly as I can do this, and we're going to put a video on YouTube getting more from your swing trading charts that'll be more detailed and look at more stocks, how they react to these lines. But the gist of what you see here is this is what I'm scanning for, and as you can see here, this showed up in the bear zone. It did go down for a few days, but these green lines are support, and that's why it fought for a few days, tried to bounce back up, headed back down again, came right back into the bull zone, bear zone, excuse me, and continued on down. Now the lines, here's what they represent. A green line is a place that a stock went up to and rejected. So as this green line redrew itself every time we made highs right here, and then it stayed across here for reference points, continues the same line here for reference points. Resistance, when you get above it, becomes support. This green line was drawn way back in the history, and when this stock broke above this resistance level, when it came back down, it held it, it held it, it held it, it tested it and held it again and again. That was support. That's why I want you to be aware of what these lines mean, and you'll see them on my charts. And then the activity that stocks do, sometimes they go, that's my first target, that's my second target. Many times stocks go target 1, pull back a little, target 2, then they may pull all the way back to 1 and go again if they're continuing an uptrend. In this case, it did the pull back. This blue line is a 50 period moving average, this orange line is a 200. So that's what I want you to be aware of as well. And then I have a pivot system that consists of this blue line at the top, yellow line at the bottom, and my target 1 and target 2. You'll see this particular day this stock gapped down, huge gap down, open way down here. The low on this stock was 169.68. I'm getting that right out of this box over here, and the value of that yellow line was 169.67. Within 1 cent it held that line and bounced that day for a huge bounce. It's not a support level, but it's where I look for stocks to try to hold. It's where I look, if I'm short, say from here, This is where I'm looking to get out. I'm looking to move 2 levels, target 1, target 2, going up, target 1, target 2. The pink lines all represent places the stock has gone down to and bounced. This pink line is referencing this last pivot low. So as you're selling down into it, it may bounce again. If you get below it, then it becomes resistance. And that's all these lines mean. I just want you to know what they mean going forward. Thanks for watching the video. Let's get started. Through time, I've got several comments and emails from viewers that don't subscribe to our services but do watch our videos and basically say, hey man, I'm getting some good trades off your videos. I wish there's a way I could contribute and I don't want to sign up for a membership. So I finally went and made a donation button. You can find it 2 places. On any video, we're included at the bottom. You just click the show more button, and shortly down there you'll see support our channel, a donation through PayPal. You can click right here, pay through or make a donation through PayPal. Any amount you want to put in there is acceptable and appreciated. And then on our website, you can go to daytradersetups.com, press the YouTube menu item. It'll take you to this page, and there's a donate button there as well. And we appreciate that, appreciate the suggestion. And thank you ahead of time for any donations sent. We appreciate it a lot. Okay, we're on a weekly chart. We got AGCO, came down into the weekly this past week. It's sitting on that level. It does have some support in this area. It's held in here several times. And this may be all it does. But it needs to be watched. Inside week can bring anything. GNCR, similar situation, broke this base on the weekly. Now this is a different looking chart on my actual weekly chart as far as having more potential to go down. Still sitting on support right here. This is the key level right here, $44.84. Tested it on Friday. This looks more like a breakdown on my weekly chart than the other stock we just looked at. PCRX as well. It's down here at some old lows. This is not the, you see where it pivoted right here, but when it pivoted here, it didn't create this support. It observed the support at that time. The line was already there. The line was created way back here in December 2016. Supported it this time. It's back there again now on a double bottom, triple bottom now. And it really needs to hold right here. Moving over to the weekly bulls, we got a big list here. I'm not so much going to run through these on the weekly as I want you to see them on the dailies. I'm still looking at weeklies here. If we switch this to the dailies, okay, this stock never really gave the big sell-off, so it's trying to resume what it was doing on its weekly. Did make retest those old highs. It's not in a daily bull zone, but it is in a weekly bull zone, and it's the second time it's been here. It broke out way before back here. Kara on the daily have pulled back into a support area, held it nicely, has gave a nice bounce, much like the SPY. It's at the spot that it can do a pullback. It's got the 200-day for support right here. So this is real key for this stock next few days. That was weekly resistance that this gapped into, and now it's got this resistance right here, which is basically Friday's high. Another similar to the other, going back to where it was. and gave a pretty good pullback down to my target 2 and bounced and headed on back up. So it's a pretty strong looking stock. Data gapped up, pulled back 2 levels back to support area right here. It needs to hold right here above, get back above this line here at $82.32. Domino's Pizza pulled back to the 50 in the sell-off, back to where it was on the highs. May try to resume the weekly uptrend that it had already got in here back here. EA, same thing, gapped up, pulled back to support, held support. It's got back above this line. That's where it needs to hold, 122.79. And it's got some, this is an old weekly highs here that's got back above. It's trying to break back out into the weekly bull zone again. EW, just like the rest, pull back. A good retracement area right to support. That low was 121.40 and the line was 121.45. This is why the lines matter. Old resistance, new support. Once it got above it, came back, tested, and held it perfectly. So if you're watching this stock the day of the big sell-off and you see it come into the level and you've got these lines on your charts, which we do give to our subscribers on our other alert service, you're right here. You know what to do. You know what to expect. Anyway, you can take a very low risk entry right there on that particular day for a day trade or even a swing trade. We're at support. We held support. Hey, I'm going to get in here and see if we can close up here, and that's going to be my stop. You talk about a low risk entry. That's exactly why you want to know about these lines. Caught up in the hoopla, going back to where it was again. General Dynamics, same thing. A pretty big pullback here right into its old support area. Came up with the market. The market hit the 50. Remember, it rejected. It's just following the market. This is a real hard stock to day trade. It's not particularly aggressive looking on the weekly over there either. GPN making new highs. Just caught up in the pullback in the market. Exact pattern the market has ran. Remember, the market is at a place it may pull back, which could give this stock a slight pullback and give you a better entry. But it is at the highs and gaining momentum. But there's a lot of stocks look just like this now. If the market pulls back, they may very well pull back as well. This stock was a big gap up probably on earnings and outlooks and gave this nice pullback here, and it's sitting on a weekly support line too. Held it very well there. So let's see what it does in the next few days, if it's following anything the market's doing. This is a weekly bull zone break. It's pretty strong looking on the weekly. I actually like the way everything's setting up down here on my indicators. And of course, that's your whole high back here, probably about where it closed at. That high was 54.95, closed just below this high. This is resistance. This is where resistance was tested. So I like to look at this line more than I do this line. It double top right here too, but this is a key level right here. Closed right below it. May do a little pullback before it goes on, just in reaction with the market. Here's your daily. Nice places it held. This was in its progression up. That's not unusual anyway without the market affecting that. KNX. Not really excited about that weekly chart. LH, big pullback with the market, bounced where it's supposed to bounce, went all the way to target 2. It made a really nice run up here. It could pull back a little with the market if the market does pull back. It might give you a better entry, and the market bounces and heads back up. This could be a good stock to be looking at. Always be aware of your earnings dates. I try to put in here what TC2000 shows. That don't mean that's accurate. It's fairly accurate, but it's not always. This stock's been on a rampage. We've been looking at this for days. Netflix, on the weekly breakout, let's see here, way back here multiple days ago, $20 a week here after the breakout, and that's what that shows, $19.20, since our weekly bull zone alert came out during the week. On our other alert service, you can get those live. PANW just continuing its grind up, resuming what was already a weekly bull zone a few weeks ago. Again, be careful with the markets. Going back and let you look at the daily. RACE, another one that's trying to pick back up on a weekly after the little sell-off with the market. Don't know much about the stock at all. Big breakout last week on this company that had been in the weekly bull zone for a while. Got caught up with the market and then had a really big week. It resumed the bull zone down here at 55.72. It's up $7 off that alert. And we've been looking at this for several days. It gapped up the other day, might have up through that support area at first of the week, and then it's just ran all week. Like I say, we had this on the bull zone alert right here at 58.92. We had it on the weekly alert at 55.66. RS, probably. There's a lot of, I think this is, yeah, it's a steal. A lot of steals were running really good last week. Gap up on the daily, pull back, and then a good follow-up day on Friday. Big week, of course, that reflects that gap now. Pull this level, this on down here, where we can see the bottom of the list. Again, on the daily, big gap up. A couple of days ago, that was off of earnings. This GMO just grinding along here, getting near some weekly resistance up here, not far away, all highs. Shop had a monster week from where we alerted on our weekly, ended up $11.20 out above that level, and looks very strong on that weekly chart. SRCL getting through the 50 week, starting to pick up some momentum here. First week on the weekly, just barely cleared it on Friday. We'll look at the daily real quick. Nice pullback areas, moved around with the market patterns, rejected the 200 day, went back to support, held it nicely through the 50, through the 200, back to the highs. Good looking chart. Don't know much about this chart. There you are on the daily. See how those lines play in, just like we was looking at EW earlier. When the market sold off, hit right where you want it to hit. It held. Nice reversal. And has been in a kind of a weekly little grind up for quite a while off these lows back here. Got the 50 week overhead. I don't know if that means anything. And this will be your resistance up here. TripAdvisor, I believe, had a strong week. 2 weeks in a row. I don't really have a read on this. There's something driving this action, obviously. There's your big gap up right into, open right at support that day, or resistance. Peaked a little above it, came back down, big sell-off that day, trying to turn back around. Wayfair just continues to grind higher. There's your weekly. We had this coming here weeks and weeks and weeks ago, and actually came back into the daily bull zone a couple of days ago. Price wise, not our momentum indicator part, but don't always get that to go with it. WB, I believe this was really moving the other day. I don't know what the driving force was. Got up to these highs now though, and it's pulled back, and it may pull back with the market. I don't know much about that action there. Workday, this ran up nicely last week with the market held where it's supposed to. It may give a little pullback here if the market does. There's your weekly. WIX, keep in mind Workday's got earnings according to this on 27th, about 10 days off. There's WIX, continues to have good days, multiple days in a row. X had a huge run on Friday. I know a lot of guys traded that big move. Again, the steels were moving on Friday. We were looking at that on RS earlier. And you got a weekly resistance right up here. And with this momentum, it may just be bust that right out. Who knows? Definitely stock you want to be paying attention to. Two more here on the weekly. We've got a short list of dailies, and we'll wind this thing down. XL held where it's supposed to last week, bounced on back up. There your daily is. And Yandex, we triggered off, just opened above the weekly, gapped up. Excuse me, that's a daily bull zone. The weekly's got overhead resistance, but it's a pretty good little ways, not $2 or $3 up there. And it's just resuming where it was when the market got carried away. And we'll take a look at the few on the dailies, and I will wrap this up. While you're here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter or StockTwits at Daytrader Setups. And our website is daytradersetups.com and swingtradersetups.com. Don't forget, this video is being brought to you by our premium alerts at swingtradersetups.com. They're real-time alerts. They're posted on our website, and we're looking at our bull zone weekly and daily breakouts, and our bear zone weekly and daily breakouts that are in one category on the website. And there are other categories that are more aggressive for the more active trader as well. And by having a subscription to that service, you get all these alerts intraday as they happen, and one subscription gets you access to everything, as well as our chart system. If you would like to get it, I can set you up a couple of different ways to have the green and pink lines available for your charts as you review. Let's go forward. Going to be doing our bears first. This stock, get on the right stock first, I'm sorry. Big gap down. I believe that was some kind of news. It drove this way down, sitting right on a support area. And the 50-day, you're going to have to see how it reacts to this pullback here. BPL still continues to sell off, coming back into the bear zone it was already in before. PCRX, we looked at this over on the weekly, sitting on the support line, really needs to hold. Rider, gap down, into support level at the 200-day. That does not look good at all. Just had earnings, or excuse me, yes, just had earnings on the 16th. And this stock is down at support resistance along with the energy sector at a key level it needs to hold as well. On the daily bulls, pretty short list. AGO, first week on the bull week, and they got a pretty nice looking weekly candle. We got Estee Lauder. Continues its uptrend. PA&W we looked at on a weekly. Looks kind of like a lot of chop going on here to me on that. Could just be caught up with the market. Big breakout here on another steel name. That sector be good to be watching this week. BRSN, big strong candle on a weekly here, and your daily. And I go back to this daily candle on this because I missed it. WAL, kind of a choppy stock, but at the highs. And then X we looked at a few minutes ago. That's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our channel while you're here. Come to our website and check out our premium alert service, $69 a month.